Casper and Dennis from Submission Radio, standing here with Jake Shields, obviously part of Team Diaz. Now, we are just after the weigh-in. You, of course, weren't there because the whole team is banned. Whereabouts were you for this whole, event?
Yeah, I was told it was not the weigh-in, so I figured no reason to cause drama. So I was just hanging out here with some of the other guys, Joe Schilling and stuff. We decided to hang out and not cause any issues showing up.
Let me ask you, who specifically told you that you were banned? Was it the UFC or was it the commission?
Supposedly one of the guys I know talked to people at the UFC, so I don't even know exactly what's going on, just stuff I read. I mean, I might could have showed up and got on, but I figured no reason to cause any drama. I want Nate, I don't want to cause any drama between the corners. We've already gotten into it a few times, so I just stayed away. Figured make it better and let Nate beat him up fight night.
Was that a tough thing to stay away? It's a huge sort of event. You want to be there for your teammate. A lot of Irish fans down here. How hard was it for you guys to stay away from this one?
Yeah, of course I want to go, but it's probably for the better. These guys start talking shit. We've already almost got into it a couple times, so I figure it's just better to stay away and let Nate beat him up tomorrow. I don't want to cause any more drama.
That moment, let's go back a couple of days now that it's sort of set in, I'm just wondering how you look back on it, if there's any regrets, and also, were you expecting something like that to happen, considering that you were in the center of the last press conference where a situation occurred?
I wasn't expecting anything to happen, but I guess, I shouldn't be surprised that it did, because considering last time, but it kind of came out of nowhere. I'm just sitting there chilling, spacing out, and then all of a sudden I see Nate running off. I had no idea what was going on, so I was like, oh, it just followed, and then I see bottles flying everywhere, and then I see Dylan Dennis throw a bottle, and then some girl, I think it was Connor threw actually, hit my 14-year-old in the head, and that's when I said screw it. Grabbed a cup of coffee and chucked it at his corner.
And what a throw it was. You mentioned the little girl getting hit. Dana White mentioned there might be a couple lawsuits coming out of it. Bit of a bummer question, but have you heard anything from anyone trying to sue anyone from Team Diaz over this thing?
Not that I've heard of, so nothing that I know about, so.
And also, this little girl, she's kind of a mystery at the moment. Was she part of the Team Diaz crew? Because that's what people are saying.
I think she knew some of the guys that were there, but I personally don't know her, so she wasn't anyone close to the team. I think she knew a guy that knew someone on the team. So.
Let's talk about the animosity for a second. Conor McGregor and Nate have this rivalry. Yeah. How does Team Diaz, how do you feel about Team McGregor? Because yesterday there were the open workouts. Conor McGregor goes out there and he said, fuck Team Diaz. If you're down with Team Diaz, then fuck you too. Yeah. How did you sort of take those comments, and what do you think about that?
Yeah, pretty much fuck those guys too. It is what it is. In the scheme of the days, it's business. But yeah, I don't really care for those guys, especially when you fight them. You got to make yourself hate them, and they're easy guys to hate. So
we can feel how pumped you are for this fight. We know that you're banned from these pre-events, but will you be allowed to corner Nate, and is that the plan?
Yeah, no, as far as I know, I'm allowed in the corner. I didn't even talk to him directly at the UFC. I just heard not to show up, and I figured no reason to cause more problems. Just, stay out of it and let Nate handle his shit. But as far as I know, they haven't told me anything about the corner. Yeah, so I'll be in his corner, and I'll have the best seat in the house again.
Conor McGregor said he's not going to change anything about his game plan going into this fight. He said this during a few interviews. Are you buying into that? Or are you expecting to see a different Conor McGregor in this one?
Of course he's going to make some small changes. He got beat up the first time. You're not going to get beat up and not try to make changes. So I think he's going to make some changes. We'll see exactly what they are.
Give us, if you can, at this point, it's pretty much too late to make any changes on either side of the camps. Are you able to let us into the game plan for what Nate Diaz is going to do? Is there even a game plan?
A little bit of both. Of course, there's a little bit of game plan, but then also a big part of fighting is you got to go out there and just feel it. Because sometimes you have a game plan, and if you get put off, you start falling apart. Kind of like Conor last fight. He has a game plan, it wasn't working. You could just see him break mentally. That's why you can't be too strict to a game plan.
Looking at this rematch, how do you see it going? Is it going to be a carbon copy of what happened the first time? Do you see this one going a little bit longer now that McGregor went back and might have switched a couple of things around? How does it play out in your mind?
It's so hard predicting these fights. Of course I think Nate's going to win, but to sit there and say what round and how, I can't do that. I think Nate's going to win, but anything could happen. I think it'll be an exciting fight, and I think Nate will end up finishing. It could go fast, it could go longer. I think Conor might go out and pace himself a little more.
You have one of the best Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu games in the MMA, and there's people yelling in the background because of all the crazy good things that you've done. McGregor saying that his jiu-jitsu's improved. It wasn't his jiu-jitsu that caused him to lose this fight. Do you believe him? Did he have enough time to improve his jiu-jitsu to a level where he could hang with Nate Diaz on the ground?
I believe he's improved his jiu-jitsu, but there's no way he's at Nate's level this fast. And again, I think the last fight, his jiu-jitsu is probably actually better than it looked last fight. People don't realize Conor was already broken mentally before he hit the ground. So I think by the time it got to jiu-jitsu, Conor was already done. Nate actually broke him on the feet, and then Conor pretty much gave up at that point. So, I wouldn't underestimate his jiu-jitsu. I think he has a lot better jiu-jitsu than people realize.
All right, well, Jack, we appreciate the time. Thank you very much. Best of luck tomorrow, and we look forward to seeing what happens.
Great, thanks a lot, guys. Thank you.